It's Friday, July 14th, 2023. Welcome to episode 61 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. In this edition of the Postcast, looks like warmer weather is headed our way this weekend. The Planning Board approves an additional 41 housing units for the Alameda Marina Master Plan. The City Council has a full agenda on Tuesday. Look for some intersections along Central Avenue to get a major upgrade. Some minor changes coming to the ferry boarding process next month. And one of Alameda's true servant leaders is turning the page after 8 years. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story: after a month of June that saw mostly temperatures in the 60s, we're about to experience our second heat wave in as many weeks. The National Weather Service has issued an excessive heat watch for the interior Bay Area as well as the Central Coast. Locations like Cloverdale or Livermore will likely hit triple digits this weekend. Here in Alameda, we're not included in the heat watch and will stay cooler, with most forecasts calling for temperatures in the high 70s to low 80s. Still, quite the change from June, which routinely saw temperatures well below the typical monthly average. Look for temperatures to cool down starting Monday, but we may see more mid to high 70s next weekend. For a look at the affected areas as well as some expected temperatures in the region, visit alamedapost.com/news. As always, you can get up-to-the-minute weather conditions measured right here on Alameda, as well as a 5-day forecast at alamedapost.com/weather. At its July 12th meeting, the Planning Board recommended that the City Council approve amending the Alameda Marina Master Plan to increase the number of housing units from 760 to 801. With some conditions, the board also approved the development plan and design for Phase 3 of the project, including a 5-story residential building with 259 apartments and 1 work-live unit. The City Council originally approved the Alameda Marina Master Plan in 2018 for a total of 760 housing units, 250,000 square feet of commercial and maritime commercial space, just over 3.5 acres of shoreline open space, and a 530-slip marina. Since that approval, the developer, Alameda Marina LLC, has built a $35 million 4,009-foot seawall and has done $10 million worth of pedestrian and bike improvements along the project site. Phase 1's 360-unit apartment building launch has been completed, and construction has begun on Phase 2 with 182 townhomes. The requested 41-unit increase comes in the construction of Phase 3, the Foundry, which would go from 218 to 259 housing units. The increase does not change the previously approved height or size of the Phase 3 building. Of 801 total housing units, 46 will be deed restricted to very low-income households, 26 to low-income, and 45 to moderate-income households. City staff will present the proposed amendment for final approval at an upcoming City Council meeting. Remaining improvements at the Alameda Marina include a temporary bay trail by the third quarter of this year, a final bay trail and commercial buildings by the second quarter of 24, Svensson Maritime Park by the first quarter of 2025, and dry boat storage and the remaining commercial buildings by the fourth quarter of 2026. One of the incoming commercial tenants to the development is the award-winning Oakland brewery Ghost Town. They've been kind of quiet about it, but the flags are waving next to their proposed site. For full details on the Planning Board's meeting and approval process, see Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. This coming Tuesday, the City Council has a busy evening in store. 3 major items on the agenda, and if you're a regular listener, they will all be familiar to you. As reported back in episode 54, the Planning Board unanimously approved the West Midway Development Plan, which includes constructing 478 housing units, 10,000 square feet of non-residential use, infrastructure, and open space on 26 acres of land at Alameda Point. Closely related to the West Midway Plan is the adjoining Reshape facility, which you heard about on episode 52. It includes 309 housing units for low-income, very low-income, and extremely low-income residents with associated services and community spaces, and up to 8 units for on-site managers and staff. That project is bordered by Midway Avenue, Ardent Way, Avenue B, and Pan Am Way, and will replace 200 deteriorating Navy dormitory units in the Main Street neighborhood. The West Midway infrastructure improvements are critical to the Reshape program, and both programs are integral to the city's commitment to build 1,482 housing units over the next 8 years at Alameda Point. The third big item on the agenda, a new design for a continuous, separated, 2-way bikeway along the full corridor of Grand Street, from Shoreline Drive to Clement Avenue. We've been following the Grand Street planning saga for quite some time now. This new design was recommended by the Transportation Commission on June 21st. The design is significantly different from prior designs the City Council entertained at its October 4th, October 18th, and November 1st meetings, and the cost would be considerably greater. The City Council will be considering the design and the additional funding. Alameda residents are encouraged to attend Tuesday's meeting, either in person or via Zoom. For full details, including the Zoom registration link, as well as links to past articles and plans concerning these three major projects, visit alamedapost.com/news. On the subject of changes to our roadways, parts of Central Avenue will be getting a major facelift, but the changes aren't just cosmetic. On July 5th, after a decade of planning and funding efforts, City Council gave the go-ahead for the Central Avenue Safety Improvement Project. This is a massive project that incorporates Central Avenue traffic lanes being reduced from 4 to 3 with a center turn lane, a two-way separated bikeway to be constructed adjacent to schools, additional street trees, improved pedestrian crossings, and resurfacing. The intersections at Pacific Avenue, Taylor Avenue, and Belena will be reconfigured as roundabouts. But it won't just be about redirecting traffic. Thanks in part to a $1.47 million grant from the Environmental Protection Agency, these roundabouts will incorporate bioretention elements. What's that? Simply put, they are landscaped depressions that use the natural filtering properties inherent in soil, rocks, and vegetation to clean stormwater before it heads to the bay. Rainwater picks up a fair degree of contamination from road and other hard surfaces, and bioretention is an effective way to naturally remove those contaminants. Once installed, the units along Central will filter runoff from 70 acres of paved and otherwise impervious surfaces. The large Sherman-Central-Encinal intersection was slated for similar bioretention treatment, but did not receive funding. It will still receive the safety upgrades. For a complete look at the project scope, including maps and aerial pictures, see Irene Dieter's article at alamedapost.com/news. If you're used to showing your electronic ferry ticket as you leave the ferry, get ready for a slight change next month. Currently, users of the SF Bay Ferry app activate their tickets just prior to getting off at their destination. Starting August 10th, you'll activate it as you board and show it to the deckhand at the gate. Paper ticket holders will also hand their tickets over upon boarding. If you're a Clipper user, you won't notice any changes, as you will still continue to tag on and tag off. If you arrive at the ferry with no ticket of any kind, you will now receive a ticket slip from the deckhand as you board. The slip will include your name and party size, and you will then head to the onboard ticket counter to make your purchase. These changes are meant to speed up the disembarkation process, as there will no longer be a need to show your ticket as you leave the ship. But again, for Clipper users, you must still tag off to ensure you are charged the proper fare. Failure to do so will result in the maximum charge, which is currently $9.30. This should have no effect on the free use of the Pier 41 short hop, since you have 2 hours from your Transbay trip to take advantage of the service for no additional cost. Full details at alamedapost.com/news. Cindy House is retiring as the executive director of the Alameda Food Bank. Cindy served the organization for 8 years, the longest such tenure in the history of the food bank. From a focus on healthy food to making the client experience a dignified one to dealing with the unprecedented demand during pandemic, she has served Alameda well. All of us at the Post wish you the best in your next chapter. Read all about Ms. Hout's accomplishments in next week's Post at alamedapost.com/features. Our walking history tours return this weekend. Join Alameda Post historian Dennis Evanosky and publisher Adam Gillett at 10 a.m. on Sunday for an exploration of the neighborhoods surrounding the East End's Treglone Court. If you can't make it on Sunday, plan on joining us at 10 a.m. Saturday, July 22nd. Details and tickets at alamedapost.com/tours. Dennis has provided an excellent introduction to the tour. Look for his article, What's in a Name, at alamedapost.com/history. No Brian Wu news this week. The Mariners have yet to announce his next start after the All-Star break. If you're looking for some free family entertainment this weekend, Alameda Landing Summer Movie Series presents Disney's Lilo and Stitch Saturday. Seating starts at 8 near Habit Burger Grill and Panda Express. If you're like me and you're always on the lookout for some great food in unexpected places, I have a recommendation for you. This Saturday from 4 to 8, check out the Open Arms Kitchen pop-up at Boathouse on Clement. Chef Toby Vu serves up some amazing Asian comfort food once a month, another Alameda hidden gem. alamedapost.com/events, your source for happenings across the island. Saturday from noon until 1, get into the spirit of New Orleans as Rhythmix Cultural Works and ARPD present Shell and Friends for a family-friendly musical trip to the Big Easy at Lydecker Park. Saturday from 2 to 4, check out East Bay Mud, a tribute to classic soul and R&B at South Shore Center. Beer and wine will be for sale, benefiting the Alameda Education Foundation's School Supplies Drive. On Sunday at the Alameda Theater and Cineplex, drag superstar Honey Mahogany will be introducing The Color Purple. Program begins at 2:30. Admission is free. More events at alamedapost.com/events. Thank you for supporting local news for Alameda. Join us as a member, alamedapost.com/memberships. Remember, you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Mastodon, as well as our own subreddit. Find the Postcast wherever you get your podcasts, or simply tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. I'm Scott Peeler. I'll be back next Friday with episode 62 of the Alameda Postcast.